I know the season's coming up to mow the lawn pretty soon, and actually in Florida it's the season to mow the lawn, and they're pretty much never stops. But you know, I've always put some kind. I never really drain the gas tank on a lawnmower that much. And a lot of times I don't really have a problem, but sometimes I might have to take the carburetor out and clean it. Sometimes I don't. And one thing I found, I'll just cut right to the chase. I found that this stuff is the best stuff going. I used to think this PRIG was the best stuff going for, you know, complete gas treatment, for preserving the fuel. I've never tried Stable 360. I heard that was Stable 360 Marine. It's a pretty good one to have. But this stuff here, I've noticed when I put it in a motorcycle, I even put it in that blue car, that was having a problem kind of stumbling at an idle when the air conditioning was on. That problem went away with that stuff. And this stuff seems to, it seems to, like, if you have any kind of gum or varnish in the carburetor, it'll dissolve it, it'll take care of it completely. It is rather expensive, but you know what, in a way it isn't, because you're paying a lot for a bottle, but the bottle treats up to 512 gallons. But I actually put it like 5 to 10 times more strength than they say you really need. And that's what seems to really keep it like really good. I mean, everything seems to clean up really good. And you know, this thing, okay, yeah, in Florida you do mow the lawn more, but you still got a period of about, I'd say maybe 6 months you don't really mow the lawn. And I didn't start this up in about 6 months. I started right up with the StarTron. And if that's been the experience with the other lawnmower from last year too. So the other lawnmower's got a broken recoil spring on it, so I gotta fix that, and the ignition it's got to be changed. But that thing's like about 25 years old almost. So I picked up this one, but this one's sat all season with the StarTron in it, no problem. I've also noticed the Harley starts up no problem with the enzyme treatment in it. I noticed it was a lot better also using the PRIG. The G stands for gas, I know that, and I forgot what the PRI stands for. Oh, Powers Research Incorporated, that's what it is, G. And this stuff actually is pretty good. This is a lot better than a lot of stuff I've seen before, that I tried before to preserve the fuel. This is a lot better, but to me, hands down, this one's the best. This one also was the one that seemed to work best with the chainsaws too, the StarTron. But I have heard, and I have not tried this, I have heard that the new Stable 360 Marine version is pretty damn good too. I haven't tried it, but I've been very satisfied with this product. Because like I said, you know, I was thinking about a complicated diagnosis with that blue car, because it's dual fuel. It runs compressed natural gas too also. And I thought, oh God, you know, the electronics in that car is like pretty complicated. I just put that stuff in the gas tank and it smoothed the idle out. When the air conditioning was on, no problem. It's back the way it was. I don't know what exactly was causing the idle to get kind of rough sometimes or stumble. I don't know what. But when I put that stuff in it, cleared it up. And that was some months ago. So every time I put gas in the car from now on, I put some of this stuff in it. And I figure, you know, maybe I have found that even with fuel injector cleaner, which this could be like a fuel injector cleaner in a way if you use a higher concentration of it. But I found, like, even if you're using a quality fuel injector cleaner, if you have your O2 sensor throws a code, and you have your check engine light on, you check the code and it says, you know, upstream O2 sensor. Usually it's the upstream one. A lot of times you could temporarily clear that out with this stuff, with fuel injector cleaner. And this stuff is, I think, is even stronger if you put it up at a higher concentration. Also, sometimes you get I forget what the catalytic converter code is, 120 or 420, I forgot what it is. A lot of times the catalytic converter you can clear up just by going down the highway, but sometimes you can run fuel injector cleaner or something like this, and you can clean up that code. That's where this whole $30-something bottle could come in really handy, because say you have it treated, you treat it for 100 gallons versus 512 gallons, and you got a 15-gallon tank, so maybe that's roughly 7 fill-ups, roughly. You can, 7 fill-ups is going to be probably, say 300 miles of fill-up or so. It's going to be like a couple thousand miles of driving. Within that period of time, say for instance you got a code on your catalytic converter, this might actually clear it up, especially if you put it in a higher concentration, like 5 times more concentrated than they tell you. That's where I found that this thing really works like crazy. That's just my own experimenting. But here I'm fixing to mow the lawn here, and I tell you the truth, I never have a problem. This motor, man, I don't want to. Maybe it's a little bit different than the old Virgin Stratton, which is, I don't want to mess with it. I'm figuring I'm just going to just keep using this StarTron stuff in there, so that'll stave off me having to take apart the carburetor, see what kind of new tech they got in these carburetors on the lawnmowers today. Because as long as the gas doesn't get gummed up, you're okay. And the problem is, like today, with today's gas, it's got the ethanol in it, right? The ethanol attracts water, and that's the whole reason how this thing works, is that if there's a minor amount of water in it, this is an enzyme in here. It'll basically, I'm talking vapor water, not like a cup of water or something. It's got a real small amount of water. This StarTron will help alleviate that problem with the water and the gas from being picked up from ethanol. Ethanol attracts water from the humidity in the atmosphere. So that's one of the ways it works. But I found, I messed around it with on a mower, that blue car, the Harley, and also this thing, the El Camino, and very, very satisfied with that stuff. And before, I was kind of raving about this PRIG, and that does have very good reviews. It is good stuff, but I give the nod to the better product to StarTron. Anyway, just figured I'd pass on that tip.